I'll send you both the one from X and the one on Abstract as well.
Okay, awesome.
Uh, all right, I think you should have them by now. I'm just gonna announce it on Discord and then on Twitter as well from my account. So yeah, you could do the same. Let your community know on Discord.
Will
We
do.
can talk about your new Discord as well. Pretty scary
Yeah.
shit, mate. Oh my
Oh yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, and I've been through it for the last few weeks, but we're coming back.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good to know. All right, let's post it on Discord. There we go. I'm just gonna quote this. All right. All right. I think, yeah, we can start. I already posted it on our Discord, Twitter as well. And yeah, just wait for more
Great.
people to join. But yeah, Cole, do you want to transition to your stream? Cool. All righty. Oh, sheesh. Okay, I can see where this is gonna go. Far out. All right, well, guys, welcome again to another pretty epic stream that we've been hosting for quite some time with the one and only Cole. Today, we have a very special guest, a very good friend. He's also building on Abstract. I feel like he doesn't really need an intro. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with him. But yeah, I'm very happy to finally be hosting Souls, the CEO of Kabu. Had the opportunity to meet this guy briefly. I hope, and I hope that's going to change maybe some other at some other IRL event. But last time we didn't have that much time to kind of chat together. But honestly, I'm feeling Kabulish. There's so many things going on with these guys. So yeah, without further ado, Souls, welcome to the streaming session with the Plooshies. How are you?
Dude, I'm doing fantastic. Thanks, Bogan. And as always, thanks for having me. And yeah, it was great to connect in Paris for, just for a brief moment,
Yeah.
for a couple of nights. And yeah, honestly, that was my first time in Paris. It's funny, I used to work for a marketing agency in Paris, and during COVID, my passport expired and
Oh no.
never made my way out there. So it was great to kind of see the sights and hang out with you guys. So yeah, no, it's we're gonna have some fun. I'm absolutely in love with 3D art, and so I think seeing a Kabu or a Plooshified version would be
Yep.
really exciting. So yeah, I can't wait for
Yeah,
that.
dude. So happy to have you. And it's interesting that, when we met in Paris, when we met, briefly at the abstract dinner and the abstract party, and then at some other kind of venues and shit. Uh, it was sort of like the first opportunity to kind of like get to know each other, but obviously we didn't have enough time. But obviously, because we have a bunch of groups in common and friends in common, builders on abstract, for me, it just made sense. And also because you guys gave us the opportunity for our community to mint some of your NFTs. So for that, I just want to, say thank you for it. I'm pretty certain a bunch of plushie holders are holding Kabus. Look, the art is just fucking spot on. Like, I can't. Whenever I look at the collection and the beautiful trays that you guys created, it's like, dude, these guys. It feels like you spend a lot of time creating this. And when I was looking at your website, for instance, right, you can see that
Mhm.
you said that you've been working on this since 2022, which is a very long time, right? And to
Yeah,
finally releasing something like Cabu in 2025, it tells me, and obviously I think it tells the community as well, that you guys have put, a bunch of time, effort, sweat, and tears to bringing Cabu to life. So
yeah,
yeah, I mean, Souls, what can you, before we kind of dive into what Cabu is and the stuff that you guys have been doing for quite some time, perhaps for people who don't really know who Souls is, like they know the persona on Twitter, right? Like on crypto
sure.
Twitter, like I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been following you for quite a while. Like you have a big following. But if you were to introduce yourself to the Plooshies community and the people who are watching this stream, yeah, the floor is yours, mate.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for the compliment on the art. We got incredibly lucky. It's I always say it's not about what you do, but who you do it with. We got
Mm,
incredibly lucky with the artist, and we've been working on this since, yeah, practically January of 2022, and talking about
wow.
this in 2021. And we were working on the art for literally almost 2.5 years, just nonstop. And it's been crazy. We lived on Pinterest. I don't think I've ever used Pinterest anymore, as much as I did in my life than I did. But yeah, I mean, my real name is Joe. I live in Florida. I'm based out of the U.S.
Hmm.
I've been online and had an online presence since I was 14, 15 years old. I was the little Leon, back in the
Back then,
Fortnite,
yeah.
the Call of Duty community when I was doing a lot of gaming.
Okay.
I was building businesses since I was a kid, just doing
Mm,
online marketing and doing YouTube. And I was really successful doing that, just helping people, put tags and, titles in their videos, captions,
yep.
thumbnails, editing, just making sure it looked presentable and, following trends and managing. And, I grew a big network from that, as a kid. And, I really, during that kind of period of my life when I was doing a lot of marketing for these well-known creators, I was also, building my financial background. I was getting my degree in finance and marketing, and I was also, getting into crypto back in like 2017 and 2018. And so
Okay.
when the NFT boom happened, at that point, I already had a very large marketing background and a network as well. And so it was really just kind of doing outreach and starting my own thing for NFT.
Mm,
And I learned a lot about it. And then I eventually worked for a Paris agency. And so, yeah, I mean, just did a lot of marketing. I had the biggest, one of the biggest or the biggest marketing agency for NFTs in the bull run. We
mm.
did have Ride Black Paris, and it was a great learning opportunity. And so I
Oh,
saw,
I remember that. So you were behind the marketing
yeah.
of Black Paris. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. For some of it, but yeah,
Yeah.
like at first, yeah, exactly. And yeah, so we did a lot of these big projects. It was really
Mm,
fun. I had a blast, and eventually got kind of tiresome. Like the obviously the income was great, but I'm in my early 20s, right? And
mm.
I loved NFTs more than I loved marketing NFTs. As much as that sounds weird, like I thought, that's why I did it. And so,
I feel you. Yeah.
um, you know, I was like, you know what? I've been at work. I have the finances. I'm in my early 20s. It's the only time I can do this in my entire life. I love building
Mm,
businesses. I think I can actually do this right. Like if I were to have a bird's eye perspective of like looking in and saying, okay, this is the project I need to market. I think this
mm.
can have an opportunity, but there's so many variables, as you know, Bogan, that go into a
Yeah.
successful project. It's not just what you have on paper. It's a lot more than that too. So, yeah, I mean, just over the last 2.5 years, 3 years, and just building this thing out. And I was finishing my degree while we were doing it, and it was kind of the perfect
Okay.
time where we could just kind of do both simultaneously. And yeah, so that's kind of my background, just marketing, finance, and love for the crypto space. So yeah, we'll see
Yeah.
how.
Dude, such an interesting journey because I mean, it tells me, I mean, you've been grinding for a very long time. Like even when you were telling, like since you were a teenager and figuring out like online marketing and doing stuff for other people. But then you kind of, I guess, maybe not that quickly, but you did realize, dude, I'm kind of tired of doing this for other people. I want to bring my own take to what NFTs should look like. Right. And then you did it. I'm pretty sure you started, knocking on doors on who could be part of your team. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how that process looked like? Because it's not
Yeah,
easy, I can tell you. Like even for us, right? Like I don't know if you watched the video that we launched not that long ago, like with the expanded team, bringing TJ, Foxy, and then Bam. Like picking the right team for your company, it's not an easy thing. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about that experience when you were like, okay, I want to bring Cabo to life. I don't know when, but it's gonna happen. And
Yeah.
I obviously know that it happened in 25. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was really funny because NFT guy was actually starting his own project and he messaged
Mm,
me because I was kind of well known in the marketing space and he was
yep.
trying to do the same thing. And he's like, "Oh, I know, you fit the kind of description and,
Yep.
would you want to hop on this thing with me?" And I'm actually thinking already of, you know, selling my company and kind of exiting the whole marketing sphere there and started my own. And so I didn't tell him about that, but it was kind of like the perfect timing. And so we hopped on a call together and,
Mm,
little did I know that he would be like the perfect person to start this with because it takes a lot of patience for sure. And,
yeah.
in 2023, I actually flew to Australia to hang out with him for about 3 weeks. And so I got to
Oh,
meet his
nice.
family. I got to meet,
Yep.
his brother, his parent. Like it was, we're actually like good friends. And, just beyond the, I didn't want this, if I want to start a business with somebody, it's not like you have to do this with everybody, but
Mm,
especially how long we worked on this, I wanted to see this guy in person. So,
yep.
yeah, we made sure to make that work. And, with the team, really early, I think like one of the biggest benefits that we had with Kabu was finding our identity within the first like couple months. Like,
Mm,
with an NFT project, it's very difficult like to know what that identity is and like what's the unique value prop, like what's the actual, what's like the end goal, right?
mm,
And what you're trying to do to stand out. And so for the first few months of actually doing Kabu, it was just all idea gen. It was like all like, okay, positioning of like, okay, what are we trying to do? Cute IP, like where we can go externally, like how can we create revenue and like, how can we utilize that to like build this narrative? And so it took us like a few months. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a very difficult thing to do. And we're,
yep.
we're still, still working on making that pronounced and marketable. But yeah, it was really just kind of having that, kind of thought about like creating the company and making sure it's
Mm,
feasible for long term before we're going to pay this artist and get him
yep.
excited about making this like this huge thing. And and I think that was like the advantage of just having that marketing background. And it's not like we perfected it, right? It's very, you can't perfect it until you do it, right? And it works.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think that was kind of the advantage. So we knew like, okay, who to contact, where to, how to contact them. And so it was just like manufacturing connects. It was like, okay, we need an advisor, we need, X, Y, and Z of like what doors we need to open, and not only the
Yep.
doors, but like the specific doors, right? Where we can actually take this somewhere. So yeah, getting the team is tough, right? Especially Web3 when it's so like, dude, it's like so fucking like um, unknown sometimes, right? Like you
Yeah.
really don't know somebody until you like see them in person or you like really have like a lot of calls with them, right? A lot of
Yeah.
time with them. And so yeah, finding that team and knowing kind of like this long and big goal, right? Because people in Web3, I love Web3 so much, but we're so used to just like, instant, right? Just like,
Oh,
okay,
100%. Yeah.
we're gonna build this AI tool and we're just gonna do this and do that in like 10 minutes. Not like that, but this is like a 3-year project. And so it's difficult to get somebody on board, especially when you're paying, hundreds of thousands of dollars for
Mm.
no payoff for years, right? And you don't know what to expect. It's a
Yes.
crazy thing. It's a crazy thing. And
Yeah.
like, dude, it's like that's a very difficult person to find. And so yeah, no, I'm very grateful for NFT guy. And, honestly, I always call him like are you originally from Australia?
No, it's a funny thing though. Like people tend to think, obviously, because I have the Aussie flag and bogan. I mean, you went to
Yeah.
Australia, so I'm pretty sure you're familiar with what a bogan means. But I
Yeah.
spent almost 10 years in Melbourne. I'm originally from Mexico. I was born in Mexico City, but then I
Oh,
went to Melbourne to study my master's degree. And then I just fell in love with the country. I decided to stay there, and it was just fucking
yeah.
epic. Like I still miss Melbourne. It still feels like home, not gonna lie. And that's where I kind of picked the accent because I mean I
Yeah.
had a lot of Aussie friends. My ex girlfriend was Australian as well. But yeah, no,
Oh.
I just I fell in love with the people, the vibes. It's so laid back,
Oh, how could you
super
not, man?
chill,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Not gonna lie. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I miss Melbourne. The people are there. It's like when you're friends with somebody for like 10 years and then you kind of like mess with them, a little bit.
Yeah,
Like, it's just like playing with them. That's like people when you first meet them here. You go to a bar and
yeah.
they're just like poking at you and then they put you in the group and having a blast. And I mean, that's how it was for me. I mean, maybe because I was like blatantly American, but I mean, it was it
Yeah,
was
I'm pretty sure we could tell, like, oh yeah, nah, this bloke is fucking American, hey, just by the accent.
100%. Yeah.
But yeah.
No
Oh,
hiding.
dude, I'm happy that you had a good time over there.
Yeah.
The other thing though, because going back to kind of like the origins of Kabu from 2022, without releasing the collection, because you guys spent, you can clearly tell that you spent a lot of time in, defining a lot of the things that you wanted to bring with the NFT project and with the art. When when did it click for you guys that, with the consumer crypto narrative that Abstract has been bringing for quite a while and that we can see now, when did that happen for you guys that, hey, maybe we should be bringing our stuff to Abstract? Because I don't know if you guys were planning to bring that collection before, we knew that, the Penguins acquired Frame and it was going to become Abstract. Were you planning to
Mhm.
maybe launch it on ETH, Sol, or any other chain? um,
Yeah, it was such a like an organic thing. It was very it wasn't like an instant like thought. It took
Mm,
us a while to kind of be convinced of abstract. I mean, let's just be
yeah.
real. Like when you first think of abstract, you're not thinking about this kind of this new narrative and the people behind it and what they're like, what's really going on internally. You don't get that. All you think of is L2. There's no
Mm,
way in hell I'm launching on an L2. That's what we were thinking originally,
right.
because of what happened with Blast, and it was very
Mm,
farmy, and it just didn't work out. Props to them, but for an NFT, that's just you're not going to survive nearly as long, especially with kind of the farming that happened
yeah.
on there. But
I mean, we
so
kind of
yeah,
saw it with a bunch of the. I'm sorry, we saw it with a bunch of the NFTs that tried to launch on Blast, and like they
yeah.
just, it didn't go
Well,
well.
yeah. I mean, if the chain, goes under, your project goes under. Unfortunately, I mean, to some
Mm,
sort of extent, I I spent a lot of time looking at Abstract, and they really showed that they wanted us as much as we wanted them.
yeah.
Eventually, once we kind of turned our opinions towards them, and it meant a lot, right? Just that like that direct feedback that you can get with a team. When you're on ETH, we were always planning on being an ETH project, right?
Okay.
But you're not getting Vitalik DMing you, right? It's not the
No.
same. So, and I think Luca is probably the best community builder of all time. I think he's like
Mm,
very good at community curation and getting people excited about things. He knows the ins and
yep.
outs just psychologically. It's not just being active in a Discord. It's like, okay, the business side, how we line it up with this and keep pushing announcements. So many variables that go into it. And also Saigar, one of the best devs in the world, and tons of experience actually building the framework of like the tech of like what so it's not only just the piece of tech that you have. It's kind of like building an NFT project. You have everything on paper, but it's like the actual mind. Who's the
Mm,
Frank D guys of the project or the company, and who do you think of when you think of Tesla, Elon Musk, right?
yeah.
Elon is one of the best marketers. Regardless of whether you like him or not, he's very vocal, and so you need somebody like that, like Luca, to really like
Yes.
push this narrative. And obviously, he loves NFTs, and so we knew going into Abstract, the Abstract wouldn't just be NFTs, and but we understood that obviously they want to put an emphasis on them, and they understand their importance, especially in a time like this when the market is there's so much uncertainty in the market, and NFTs
Mm,
honestly probably have never hit a lower low. I don't think this is the lowest they've ever been, but I do think like obviously they can go a lot higher. I think a community of like very passionate individuals like you and like
mm,
Bosu, Kev from Bosu and VQ, and a lot of these guys and a lot of people who are kind of just going into this like tight knit community is like exactly what it needs for it to like thrive again and garner the attention, because I feel like it was very scattered for such a long time.
yes.
Just all over the place. Oh, I'm minting on Soul, ETH, Blast. Like,
Mm,
there's always like the project, but it's hard to like, put it together. But when you have a culmination of all these great projects, and like you go
mm,
to Abstract for like quality, and you can kind of see the 5 or 6 projects that are kind of king made. You're like, oh, you're looking at them. That's more than one, right? Abstract's
mm,
kind of giving the voice to a lot of projects that might have not seen the limelight. I'm not saying
yep.
Plooshies or Kabu or Bosu wouldn't do well. It's it's great when you can have a community that feeds off of each other and it can be
Yeah.
part of this environment, right? It's it's kind of like why Phase Clan is a thing. I don't know, it's a stupid example, but it's why, like, groups are a thing. That you can get each other's communities and you can be part of this thing and do giveaways. It's great. So you're not alone in the fight with Abstract, and that's what I love about them. And so yeah, I mean, like I said, we're always an ETH project for the longest time. And what really convinced us is just the calls. They kept calling us and kept calling us. And,
Mm.
we were on multiple calls getting deals from everybody, you name it. And, the way that Abstract approached us was very unique and it really sold us. I mean, it's not just, a call is a call, but they kept calling us and told us like what they're going to provide us and what they're trying
Yep.
to do in the long term. And it was really inspiring. And they're like, hey, okay, we're going to lay out all the different ways that you can communicate with us. Here's what we're planning on doing. You're not going to be alone in this. Here's who's coming on board. Here's how we're going to feed off each other and make sure that we can create the best community possible. And that really helped. So yeah, I mean, I love what Abstract's doing with consumer crypto. Obviously, as a cute IP, we're trying to do
Yeah.
consumable things. We're trying to be the first crypto IP to use food as a gateway to culture and community, instead of just going the plush route at first and using that
Yeah.
as the mindshare. For mindshare, we're gonna do vinyls, everything like that. But yeah, we're
Oh,
trying to do
nice.
products, man, and it's good to have people who know about products. So
Yeah, I mean, there's two really interesting things that you mentioned. One of them is I think you were pretty spot on with this community aspect, right? Because this is something that I actually love to kind of like tell everyone that it's so easy to one network on Abstract because there are so many solid communities that have been built for so long that when you put them all together in this pot, it's like we all want to succeed, right? Like the communities want to see other projects succeed. Now, I see a lot of overlap now with, let's say,
mm,
with the Plooshies community, now with Kabu, with Ryui, with Bosu, with On-Chain Heroes, and back and forth. And then obviously we are backed by one of the biggest communities that we've seen in our industry, which is the Pudgy Penguins. It's sort of like it feels like the perfect combo. Like it's one big community that has multiple communities that they are kind of like
mm,
supporting each other, trying to elevate each other. Like even ourselves as with leadership positions, we are trying to find ways where we can support each other as well, right? Because we, even if we are competing, quote unquote, for this mind share, because we want to be the best of of the very best, but we also know how important it is to actually collaborate and find ways to support and elevate the others. So I think you were really spot on with that, and it's such a USP that Abstract has, and that you can tell as well with the people working for and with Abstract, and with us as builders on Abstract.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I just wanted to say that, like, pretty spot on. And the other thing, fuck, I think I forgot about that. But it come back to me. Give me 1 second.
All
um,
good. Yeah. The communities, man. It's something you don't get very easily, especially
yeah.
when, we're online and it's so scattered
Mm,
and, it's very difficult to retain people. And, when you
yeah.
have this thing and it's called Abstract and you're like, people will just kind of gravitate towards that, and Abstract did a phenomenal job marketing themselves right
Yeah.
first before the projects. You have this core, you have this sun that everybody revolves around, and in
Mm,
the most healthy way possible, where they're each their own planet, but they all revolve around this kind of core that's very solid. And that's
yeah.
the team, that's the product, that's everything. And so I think everything is just very bulletproof right now, for the most
Yeah.
part, even in a shaky market. And yeah, community is definitely invaluable. So very important.
Yeah, and oh, I remember now. And the other stuff that you were mentioning with the, obviously you guys being in this cute meta, like I like to call it. It's not even my quote, to be honest, but they call it like the cute investment thesis, right? Because we know like the top 10 brands in Web 2, they always have something related to cuteness. Like we've seen that with Pokemon, with Disney, with Hello Kitty, with Marvel. You call it, you name it, right? So knowing that there's there's people that have laid out like certain playbooks, so we know that have been successful, they kind of work. And you mentioned one of them, whether that be the plushies or the toys. I like to say that it's fine to imitate to a certain point, but then you have to innovate. So even with us, right, with the name of the plushies, obviously people are expecting plushies of plushies. That just makes sense, right? But why not before that we start introducing a bunch of different products, IP activations that are maybe not the plushies or the toys that people are just waiting for it because it's just natural that it will happen. But maybe
Mhm.
introduce something that people are not expecting and giving that wow factor, right? And I feel like that's when you were saying that related to the products, I feel like I resonate with that as well, because I feel like maybe you're leaning towards a little bit of that. Um, yeah, maybe Souls, do you want to now I kind of want to transition now to this very scary event that you guys went through not that long ago. I'm just happy
Yeah.
to know that everything is just under control now. But maybe for people who are not familiar, who are unaware of what happened, did you just want to give us
Yeah.
a quick rundown of how it happened?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So, I mean, just to briefly touch up on the products, man. Yeah, it's you can. There's only so much you can do as
Mm,
an NFT project. You can do cute IP, you can do an anime IP. You know, you have to be in this broad bubble to some sort of extent, right? That's your identity, right? That's who you
yeah.
are. And it's not like you have to, you're thinking about this label when you're making it, but you are kind of placed into it. But there's only so much you can do vertical wise, right? But it's really about how you approach it, and there's
Mm,
so many, there's different ways to approach it that nobody else has thought of. And so the way we thought of hey, obviously, I don't know if you've heard of Bored and Hungry. Sorry if I'm like yapping on a tangent, but you just mentioned like the product, so I was just wanted to
nah,
briefly
go
touch
for
on
it, dude.
there.
This is perfect because I'm also a yapper. I love to fucking yap. So now that the two of us are like that, like, go for it,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
Go
sweet
for
man. Yeah, double
it.
yappers. Who knows what's gonna happen? Yeah, so Bored and Hungry, like this chick's making like candy bars, and it's really
Mm,
cool. Like she's just using the IP of Bored Ape to like make candy bars. So food's been done, but everybody has to eat at conferences, and conferences are always going to happen, right? And we never
mm,
thought that like an IP or a company is taking advantage of that. And I think it's a great way to like hit the right target audience, bring the right mind share, but also garner like external attention, because if we're placed on Uber Eats, right, we do a bunch of promos, we get ranked high, and we get local attention, revenue to the company, and we're
mm,
just known eventually as like the kings of food, right, or
yeah.
whatever. And it's like, in a market that's very, you don't have crazy war chests anymore. It's like, how can you uniquely, like, this is a masterclass on how to market, right? Because you don't have tens of millions of dollars to really proliferate, like, I don't know, to kind of go, beyond a certain extent to where you're having this pudgy penguin like blow up. And it didn't
Mm,
happen for them immediately, but it's finding unique ways to garner mindshare and really leveraging that to not only survive, but go to the
yeah.
extra step, but also not going too far off and pivoting. There's so many variables, and like I respect a lot of builders who are like finding unique ways to like do a plush toy or do whatever, where it's not
Mm,
just like a Timu product where they're just kind of doing it, and or just saying, hey, we're just going to announce like a coffee, right? We're just going
yeah.
to
Just for the
have a
sake of it.
coffee
Yeah.
just for the sake of it. Exactly, right? It's all about packaging, right? Like you can do whatever the fuck you want in crypto. It's all about like, okay, what is the narrative, why we did this, and how is
Mm,
it going to help this brand go further? And so yeah, it's just like I said, just packaging problem for a lot of projects, but not anybody I know, but in the past that's kind of what happened. But yeah, anyway, so with the hack, we got hacked by a Russian dude. He said he was from North Korea. He was trying. So basically, what happened is NFT
oh
guy's
shit.
PC got hacked, and so there was this hacker that was dormant on his PC for months,
Oh
and it
damn.
was a
All
coordinated
right.
attack. Yeah,
Mm,
so he got the GoDaddy account, he hacked the site to where it wasn't like a full hack, but he like changed
mm,
like the first layer of like imaging on the page, so you could see like, oh, token drop, right? Um,
mm,
he hacked the Twitter. We still don't have access to the Twitter. The 2FA is down. We're contacting Twitter. We made like 30 help tickets. We're getting that back shortly. And then he hacked the server, and then he deleted it.
mm.
We had like 45,000 people in there. And
Fucking
so,
hell, dude.
a lot of them are bots, sure, but there are
Mm,
definitely more than like, there was a couple tens of thousands of real people in there. But,
yeah.
it was unfortunate, but, we have a real server now that's up. The Twitter's going to be back. And honestly, like,
By the way,
you can
just so people know, like this server,
yeah.
does it has the Cabu name? Like, what's the Discord server?
Yeah, yeah, no, it's completely back up and running. We
Okay,
we did like 4 or 5 security audits. It's called Kabu. I can give
okay.
you the link eventually, but yeah, I mean it's all back up there, completely fine. We made a lot of changes actually to this new server just because it's like a lot smaller and a lot more tight knit.
Mm,
we started like a council with like a lot of these OGs to give back feedback of how to implement certain things, because when you're, when you're down and when the loyal people are behind your brand, that's, I mean, obviously community matters the most, but I know a lot of people who would die to have a community like I do, where you have like 100 people who are just diehard Kabu, and I really appreciate them, and I want to show them how much we appreciate them over the course of time. And so we wanted to create this like exclusive council, and they have voting rights, and they can do all this different stuff. And yeah, I mean, no, it's been crazy. You know, it really just kind of tests your mental,
Yeah.
yeah, when you're in this type of situation. And it was phenomenal though. We had VQ, we had Bearish, because Drip did our Drip, who's the supplemental company of Bearish, like the dev side with Scotty. For those who don't know who are listening, they really helped with a lot of the coin system in our Discord and a lot of security. They did our website, at least the first one before our new one that's going to come out. But yeah, I mean,
a little bit of alpha
literally,
there with the new website.
no, you have to squeeze an alpha wherever you can, though.
Yeah.
Come on, 101 right here. No, I mean, so essentially, like literally, as soon as it happened, it was like 11:02 in the morning. 11:04, I was on 4 different calls with Seal 911, with Finn, with our devs, with like when auditor security guy. He's like, hey, okay, well, I don't know, Joe, meet this person, he's going to audit this. Like, it was like crazy. Like, it was crazy how on top everybody was, and free charge. Obviously, these are just people who want to help out. And it just goes to show how incredibly supportive like Web3 is. It's amazing. Like, you know, just the projects who have helped us out, and just like messages like from you and everybody, it's just been like amazing, right? Because like, you are nothing without, you know, you can't do everything yourself sometimes, especially like, I don't know like how to audit a server, but I know like who can do it properly. So yeah, it's no, it's just without these guys. And, you know, honestly, with the token drop, so they hacked the Twitter, they posted something on it, like say, hey, Kabu token, right? They hacked the site, Kabu token. And anybody who wants to act, the problem with this whole thing is anybody who actually wants to, you know, who looks at this, they can't really tell if it's sus or not, because the site has it, right? And so you're like, okay, how the hell would they get access to the site? And so it looked legit. And so everybody was like, okay, this is kind of weird, you know, but thankfully only like $80 was lost. And so we made sure to refund, you know, all those guys. Like, because we literally, like I said, 30 seconds after, like a minute after, it was like, site's down, everything's down. It was just, you know, the bad part is because NFT guys PC was hacked, you know, for quite a while, because he's in Australia time. For about 8 hours, I was calling his parents, calling his brother, because the guy was in the Discord server. And that was the thing that really sucks. But we're going to recover from it. You know, it's you can't hack people, right? You can't hack a community. It's something you can never take away. And I mean, it's just numbers, right? It was bloated from pre-mint. We don't have any of these crazy activations that are out yet, that we've been marketing and getting people excited about for a long time out yet. And so, you know, it's really just about, let's pray that this X account gets up in the next week, because we have some really cool stuff that we want to push. But at the same time, you know, with it's going to come back eventually, and you know, the people are here for the same reason they were here pre-mint, and we're just going to keep building. So, you know, it sucks, but honestly, it could be a blessing in disguise, and that's how I look at everything. So
that's actually was one of the things that I was gonna say. I feel like in hindsight, you guys will look at this really scary and shitty event as a really pivotal moment for you guys and the community as well, because now you can see, like, obviously you were telling like, there were like 40k members in that server, maybe there were heaps of bots or whatever, but now that you can see like the people who are joining the server and being super active, sending you DMs, whether that be to you or NFT guy, or just, you know, being vocal about, you know, the support for Kabu, you can identify these people, right? And then you can start not from scratch though, but it gives you a good opportunity to identify the people who are really there for you guys. And you can, I mean, there's ways. I mean, you're already talking about, you know, the council that's happening, like they have voting rights, like they have more kind of like a saying with the project, with Kabu. And I think in hindsight, you will look at this like, maybe we needed this to happen, to one kind of like, okay, shit, how did we miss this, right? Like how did we let this happen to us? It shouldn't be happening. But obviously you telling the experience on how it happened, maybe someone is going to clip this, would be good, so they can, you know, more people are aware of this sort of shit, because we don't want to see this happening. Like, it's just very sad and very unfortunate, but happy to know that slowly but surely you're building it back. Because I mean, we do want to see Cabu in the timeline again. Like it's just, the art is top notch. So I can't wait to see the more of the stuff that you're bringing.
Thanks,
But
man.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it's been absolutely fantastic. I wish I was more active, in the last couple of days. It's difficult being an official account for Kabu and also being a personal account. So I've been really trying to like not post a crazy amount just so the Discord is at the top and everybody sees it. We're just gonna take a deep breath together and then go crazy again, and just kind of time this out. And everybody's still here. We're definitely always active in Discord, and just getting people back first, and then second, just like back to normal, right? We don't want to stay stagnant. NFT projects die out in the first like 3-4 months after mint if you don't stay stagnant, and it's very difficult to maintain people just in general. And we have a blessing of doing the hardest part first, is having a community who cares, right? And that's all you need. And so as long as you're actually doing the work and have everything built out like we have done, it's just about clicking the button and honestly just showing face and being there for people. Because people being transparent and authentic is the number one thing. And like I see Coffee DJ, I see Jake in here, I see it's a couple Kabu holders in here, and I mean these guys in particular literally are in VC together, like playing Marvel Rivals or just like sharing videos and that. Like I know these guys since pre-mint. Like it's just crazy, like the people who stuck around, and you can really tell. And it's been a learning lesson, but a good one. So appreciate you letting me share that.
Yeah, no, I mean, of course, because I mean, like I said, it's just really sad and unfortunate when it happened. I didn't even know it was happening though. I don't even know what I was doing, but I was probably kind of busy IRL with my family or whatever. But when I saw it, I was like, oh fuck, this is so shit. Like this is the stuff that we just don't want to see. But I'm just glad that the community and the people from your network, they were just like, dude, let's support Cabaret. These guys are doing really cool stuff. So yeah, I mean, you should be, I mean, like I said, in hindsight, kind of grateful for like identifying the people that are really there supporting you, like even mentioning the people who are watching the stream right now. But yeah, Souls, I wanted to ask you, like, after going through all of that, and perhaps it halted a little bit the stuff that you were planning to release, how those plannings look like. What I mean, yeah, like obviously rebuilding that Discord server, hopefully getting the X account. But yeah, like what should people be expecting like in the coming weeks or so? Because obviously it did feel like I can tell you, right? I feel like, not an outside perspective because I'm holding a Kabu, by the way, but it's like suddenly like we were just looking you guys all over the timeline, people changing their PFP, super excited about this. And obviously we know why this kind of stopped for a bit, which is really unfortunate and pretty shit. But now like you in this rebuilding phase, and the stuff that we can see, in the coming weeks, days or whatever, like floor is yours, man.
What to expect? Oh man, it's I wish I had like a list, like a scroll that I could share, but I can't. But so the project's going to revolve around 4 things. It's going to be community empowerment. It's going to be the food vertical. It's going to be the physical vertical with the Plooshies, and it's also going to be doing events. And so with Cobb, and then like everything's just kind of smushed in between those 4 different topics. But anyways, so what's coming up in Kabu in Dubai, we're renting out Art Style, and we're going to host some of the biggest events during Token.
Nice.
Even like the brunch we're going to have with Abstract. I don't know if that's confidential, but we're going to host some stuff.
No, I feel like no, it's not though, because I feel like an hour ago, like they were talking about that in one spaces. So you
okay. I'm sure they were. I just, okay, great, Luca. Please don't, But anyways, so we're gonna be hosting, basically restaurant. We're gonna be hosting food. We're gonna have our merch there. We're gonna be giving out a lot of like free food, that you can have just vibing out in the community. Punks are gonna be there, Alpha Bot, everybody and their mom is gonna be there, and we're just gonna be serving food and repping the Kabu brand. It's gonna be everywhere. And so we're gonna be doing that. And so that's our major activation for now. And then, just throughout the Discord, like I said, the council, we're going to be doing events and things to do just to kind of keep people engaged and interested. I know not everybody can fly to Dubai in the middle of, April. Everybody,
Yeah.
people work, but there's always going to be something that's supplemental, even if, we're doing this thing overseas. And so that's going to be what we do now. And then coming up, we're going to be doing the plushes and the vinyl toys. But before that, it's actually our biggest activation we've been teasing. Not to get too in depth, but essentially we're going to be creating an Azuki Haluma mixed with a Board API club and a Pudgy
Okay.
Penguin site. Like, so imagine Azuki, right? You have, all these animations. We're actually working with the team who did Azuki in Attack on Titan to do lore for us.
Let's
We have
go.
this interactive world map. And so essentially you can click onto a location, and they're going to be very limited locations, right? We have all these different locations, and some of them you can click on and you can actually be transported inside them, and you can like see all the Easter eggs and you can click through them. And so it's going to be like this whole, we're going to make a Sunset City alive where you can actually be placed inside it, and it's going to be done, the quality's fan. I'm super grateful we met these guys. But anyways, we're also going to be doing a progression system with badges. And so if you're at a Kabu event in the future, you can get a badge. You can scan a QR, you can go to the site, and you can get a badge for XP progression. If you're a collector, right, and you like to collect all the different characters or different traits, or you're somebody who collects like really rare stuff, you're going to get, a bunch of progression. And so, the details of what that means will be announced, but let's just say it's going to make people excited for the long-term future of what's to come. And so that's going to be just something from a collector standpoint, or the beauty of this badge system is if you make music, like I know Bossa makes beats, right? He's going to do stuff for the Kabu site, or if we do a contest for art or music, right? The winners of those will be able to have that art placed inside these interactive locations, or they can have the music placed inside of like a location, right? And also get a badge for it. And so we're going to have a content creator program, essentially, being besides this whole kind of tech that we're going to implement. So no matter what, throughout the entire life cycle of Kabu, if you create anything, right? Music, art, whatever content, just threads in general, you're going to be able to be rewarded directly by the Kabu team and be placed within this city. And so it's going to be really cool to where we're rewarding people for engaging, we're rewarding people for collecting, we're just immersing everybody and creating some sort of progression to anticipate what's to come as well. And so it kind of hits all those different notes, but I'm really excited about that. But we need the Kabu X account back to make that happen. But it's still in development. It's going to be done in about, let's just say like a month, about a month. And so we're probably going to tease it for June. So it's just to give a little bit of when that's going to be. But super hyped for it.
That's heaps of really, really cool shit that just makes me happy to be holding a Kabu, not gonna lie. So pretty much is this, I don't know, maybe I'm, excuse my ignorance maybe, but is this kind of like the Sunset City that you have envisioned? Is this related to it? Or this is gonna be something different?
So the Sunset City, it's essentially just a world map of Sunset City with all the locations. Like, so Azuki does a great job at this. We're going to kind of take inspiration from a bunch of different people. So like Azuki does a great job of like, okay, certain locations are like, let's just say a Kabu music studio, right? And this music studio, when you click on it, you can see all the people who have the badges, who have won the music contest. So all the profiles are shared. And then you can also click different locations that are just the locations. It's just a 3D image of like the building with a description. And then the other location is the ones we can actually click on it and you can go like inside it. And so we're going to have like 3 or 4 different types of locations. And then the badge and progression system, we're going to have a profile page as well. So, you can click on your profile, you can have your NFT showcased, your rank, everything, what you accrue. And so it's all going to be like intertwined on the site for sure.
Is this going to be on chain as well? Like you're going to be bringing these badges on chain?
Oh yeah. I mean, well, you're going to connect your wallet for sure.
Yeah.
But you also can sign in just with your email. So if you buy a Kabu product on, 5 years from now at Walmart, and you can, just put your email in and, you can get some stuff as well. But this is definitely a Web3, focus thing for sure for the time being.
That's cool. I mean, that's cool. Dude, can't wait to see that. And hopefully you guys will be able to get that X account relatively soon. Because I feel like the abstract ecosystem needs to see you guys back again. And for me, I'm just, happy to, have you here today, giving us a little bit of an update, whether that be to your community or the community from the Plooshies that are holding cabos, like myself. I feel like I'm just helping myself a little bit by getting to, get more
Yeah,
info related to where you guys are. And most definitely, I mean, let me know about the Dubai event that you will be hosting, because I mean, I literally just have to
100%.
drive 1 hour and I'll be there. So yeah, can't wait to that. IRL activations are the alpha, I can tell you that. Uh, we
100%.
did we did our first official IRL event back in Paris with Pudgy Europe, and I can tell you it was so much fun. Because having that direct contact with people who are holding, in your case, cabos, right? But in our case, it was the Plooshies, or people that we met for so long, like
Yeah,
hanging out with them. It's just like, dude, these are the
it's
people who
invaluable, man.
trust you. It's
It's
invaluable, one hundred
yeah,
percent. So I can't wait to also, like hang out more with you, obviously, and
of
with the
course.
community of Cabu, and the more people that will be there. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
keen
no,
as for that,
it's
man.
awesome, man. I appreciate that. We're actually partnered with well, okay. We're not okay. Anyways, I don't want to leak this.
Damn, that was,
I'm
oh
so bad
guys,
at
we were
leaking
so
shit.
close, eh? We were so
I'm
close.
so close. But we're working with one of the largest event companies in crypto with Kabu. Like he's our advisor. He's a part owner of this, and he's like, hey guys, like if you need anything, let me know.
Mm,
Just hit me up. We'll give you holders access. So throughout just all these crypto events, if like I'm not there speaking or doing an event or whatever,
yep,
we're always going to make sure like if you're there and you're a Kabu holder, we'll get you access to these events. And so it's a great thing to where we can kind of be everywhere all at once and just kind
yep,
of provide for those who are just supportive. But yeah, this is kind of the main activation for now, and we'll see how it goes. I'm very excited for it.
yeah,
And
nice.
yeah, also to link with the Plushie holders. I know I've seen so many of them in the Discord server, and it's great. Like Plushie Collector right here in chat saying good morning, brother.
Yep.
Like he's always in the Kabu OG chat and on Twitter, and I always see them. And so yeah, your community, you've done a phenomenal job, man. It's I mean, it's
Thanks,
not
mate.
just you, it's everybody too. But like, yeah, you and the community just are great. So definitely a shining light. What I always notice on the timeline. So it's great to see.
Oh, mate, that's
Yeah,
I did not expect flowers today, but I appreciate that. Thanks, mate. And yeah, I mean, like I was saying, like we were saying like a few minutes ago, like how important the community is, and these overlap that you get to see now with Abstract, like all of us supporting each other. Like for instance, one of the things that I want to do, like for instance, with you guys, bringing the IP of Bearish to Plushy Island is something that I want to do. So I really like publicly want to say like extend that invite, that if there's a possibility to bring 3D assets related to the Kabu IP to Plushy Island, trust me, we'll find ways to be able to do that, because Plushy Island will not be just this community hub where you will only see Plushy. Like we want to see a bunch of IPs that are very close to us. There's a lot of overlap. They've been supporting us, and for me, it's just and for the team and for our community as well. I'm pretty sure they will love to see the Cabra IP on Plushy Island, and I want to do that, and obviously extending as well publicly, because we're getting very, very close to the apartment mint, which is literally gonna be the game pass for people to beta test the game. Pretty much
cool.
getting those early rewards in our ecosystem. We actually today released a few in-game footage of what Plushy Island is, and it's coming very,
Nice.
very soon. So yeah, I mean the Game Pass, like you will need an apartment for you to be able to play the game, to beta test the game, and get those early rewards before the public release. So I want to extend that invite as well to your community, to allocate some Wiley spots for you guys,
Wow.
because we want to onboard and as many people as we want. And obviously, Abstract is very important for us. We've seen the hard work and the effort that you've put and the beautiful community that you've been building. So yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure that there's so many things that we can do together, and yeah, exciting times, excited to cook together, and
Oh yeah.
obviously supporting you guys for sure.
Absolutely would love it. We're working with Nifty Island right now, actually, and so we're gonna get a 3D model probably made pretty shortly. And so,
Oh,
yeah,
nice. Okay,
shit, I just linked
ECS.
that again. I keep linking things, broken. It's well. Anyways,
I
surprise.
mean,
It's well, yeah, we're gonna get a 3D model made. So yeah, I mean, I can definitely send
let's
that
go.
over. I would be honored to be part of that. Yeah, that'd be great. I'm sure everybody
Yeah,
would
dude.
absolutely love to get a spot. So
Once you get that 3D asset, just send it our way. We'll do a magic. I mean, we have Cole here, obviously doing something pretty epic for you.
yeah, bro is
Um,
cooking right now.
yeah, dude, he never stops cooking.
Yeah.
Cole, just real quick before we continue our convo, like, Cole, do you want to give us an update on the stuff that you've been doing?
Yeah, so I pretty much modeled it now. So here it is. I have to texture it still, and I was just trying to
Mm.
unwrap it then. I don't know how much you know about 3D, but yeah.
This is
You
sick.
know that dude, we've been doing this for so long, and it's like, you're speaking Chinese
Yeah,
when you use it.
I love it. Oh my god. Yeah, the fact that you can
So
just do this on a call, like,
It's insane, right?
that
It's insane,
fast.
isn't
Like,
it?
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
dude.
nuts.
Yeah,
yeah, I have to go get dinner. So
we're insanely lucky to have someone like Cole. But yeah, Cole, like, you were telling me, like, if you have to leave anytime soon, just let us know, and I'm pretty sure you can, finish this up later on so we can send it to Souls. But yeah, just
That'd be great.
yeah, I'll get this texture this week.
okay.
I'm gonna leave now for dinner.
All right.
Have a blessed
What are
one,
you
Cole.
having?
Nice
What
to
are you having
connect.
for dinner, Cole? By the way.
Pizza.
Nice, nice. Well done, sir.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
enjoy dinner, and yeah, we'll continue from here. Thanks, Cole. Thanks you for your time. This looks fucking epic, by the way.
Yeah,
It's not
this
even
one.
completed, and it's
Thanks,
it's
guys.
already looking really good. I can already
Seriously.
picture it.
All right. Good night, guys.
All right.
Thanks, mate. See
Nice
ya.
meeting you, man. Thank you.
So Dubai, yeah, we're definitely gonna see each other there. Let me change the format of this. Yeah, okay, cool. Um, So yeah, dude, do you have anything else that you would like to talk about today? Maybe for your community. I feel like you shared so many things. Like, if people
Yeah.
had been paying attention, and if people are gonna click this stream, they can get a lot of info. Like, I can tell you, I already got a bunch of info, which makes me think like I should probably get another Kabu. So that
Yeah.
okay, that leads me to a question though. Like, out of all the traits, because most of them are pretty fucking epic, which one is your favorite, by the way, from your collection?
My favorite one isn't my favorite for a reason you might expect. It's I'm a very like nostalgic guy, and
Mm.
so like my PFP on Twitter, the one where its face is just like holy, like
Yeah,
it's like a wind turbine,
yeah,
went to his face. That's my favorite one, just because when we made that trait back in the day, it was a time where we had a call, just Josh and I, after that was done,
mm.
and I was telling Josh, I'm like, okay, dude, this art is like special. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna lie, like this art's kind of nuts. And that was like this kind of starting point of like this crazy. So we invented, I don't know if we invent, I don't know, be that guy, but like we
mm.
have a cool system in Kabu that I don't see any, many places, where it's called expression headgears. And so I'm
Mm.
in love with like abstract art, no pun intended, right? Of like a skull with like a flower going out of its skull, the
Mm.
skull, or just like immersive like emotion like traits. And so when we decided to just do like head replacements, or like expression headgears where you have an expression and there's like some dude
Yep.
on the top, like, and it kind of correlates. That's like the starting point of like when we started doing this, and that's like the whole identity of Kabu art, to a certain extent, all these little miniature Kabus and how it like interacts with
Yep.
you as a person, all the motions. So that was kind of just like, yeah, that's why it's my favorite. It also looks pretty cool. So yeah, it's cool to
Yeah,
do.
I think it's even pretty iconic now. Like, when I see your PFP, right? I'm even when I think about it, it's funny though. Like, when we think about puking rainbows or whatever, like, there was a time that I would think about doodles, right? Uh,
Yeah.
but now that I see your PFP, I don't even think about doodles anymore, because I feel like you've been making this PFP pretty iconic, and the art is really unique. Like, I feel like it's really unique, even if there's like, you have this character, which is, the main Kabu, and obviously there's different kind of skins or whatever, but it's so iconic that people, I identify, someone who's repping a Kabu as their PFP, and I feel like it's pretty unique, of how you conducted yourselves with creating the art, because it's one of those points, right? Like, that you really need to take into account when people will find their final digital identity, that you can
Yeah.
know, oh yeah, that's a cowboy. Hey, yeah, that's a plushie. That's a penguin. Like that, it's so iconic, and I just wanted to give you flowers on that, to you, your
Thank
team,
you.
and your lead artist. So yeah, pretty cool stuff, mate.
Thanks, brother. It's you can think art is as cool as it is before you announce it, but it's really how people perceive it, at the end of the
Yeah,
day. And I'm super grateful that, people really enjoy it. And so yeah, no, it's been fun. So yeah, I can't wait to have all these different collector rewards of people who just love art. I
Yes.
know I was talking to Chris about this, just like in Paris from Good Vibes Club. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
We need just projects who are just honest with people, and they're like, we're for art enthusiasts. Like, we just want to spend a lot of time on art and just do it. I mean, this is not only what we are, but that's kind of the love and the living, breathing, organism that is Kabu. At the core of it is just like, you just want to be immersed in this thing, right? Like, how can you be an IP and not like the art, right? And not like the characters.
Correct.
And this is your main introduction to like what you're ingested, right? And so art is essential, right? And it's, there's a lot of projects like Miladies or what's that project on Barry Chain, Steady Teddies.
Teddies?
Yeah, we're part of their identities. Maybe we don't care about art. Maybe this is just kind of a degen, like, fun project. And that's awesome. But like, the art correlates with what you're trying to feel, what the founders want you to feel, what that project is. Whether it's a Milady, like, the art might not be, extravagant, but you know what to expect, and that they do a successful job at it, and they do a great job. The Miladies are awesome in the community there. So I mean, I love the Plooshies art as well. It's pretty iconic as well. So
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Like, maybe I'll put you in the spotlight here, but do you have any, like, because you've seen the 11 different animals that we have so far. Like, if you were to pick one out of all of them, which one would you say is the one that, oh yeah, maybe I want to get one of these?
You guys have a fox, right? Like,
yes, we do.
Yeah, that one. I really like that one.
Oh,
So
mate.
I might have to, dude. I promise. I'm like, this is not like, I've just been so crazy busy. I'm copping Good Vibes Club. I'm copping Bosu. I'm copping Plooshies. I'm getting everything. So yeah, stay bound. I will be in this server. I will be in the Plooshies environment for sure. Yeah, I've been shopping, dude. I'm not gonna lie, I've been shopping for sure. So I'll definitely share it on Twitter.
Nice. No, I mean, the community will be honestly more than happy to have someone like you. Like, it's funny. Like, I think Scully and Kev, they did it a while ago with houses NFTs, the houses that we launched on Abstract first, and dude, the community were buzzing. Obviously, because there's a lot of overlap. So I can guarantee you that the community will be buzzing when they see you in our server, and obviously welcome you guys to our ecosystem. Yeah, dude, pretty epic. Yeah, the Fox. There's a video that we launched, that we released on Twitter, like, kind of like introducing our team with different questions and shit. And there's a question that we asked the new team, like, what's your favorite plushie, your favorite trade? And I just had to say, like, I was like, dude, my plushie. Like, I mean, it is my plushie, my favorite plushie. Although I do have a few particular trades that I do love, simply because they look pretty epic in our game. Because you can play as your plushie in our game, right? But when I play as my PFP, like, it's just kind of like a naked plushie with the ice crown, which is pretty iconic. But if I play with, when you see the plushies, right, it's a big head and a small body. So when you include a big hat, like a wizard hat, for instance, it just looks funny ass. Like, it's so funny because it's like a top-down approach. So you only see a wizard hat, like, running around or, riding the skateboard, and it's a big, massive wizard hat. So that's the one that I use the most. Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out as kind of like from my collection, like one of my favorite trades.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it definitely is different from like a PFP perspective and like actually playing with them, just kind of seeing the proportion. You guys have really iconic proportions, and that, like, I mean, that's great. Like, just from like just standing out, like, I know Plooshies have like massive heads, so I'm sure it looks really funny with some big hats on them for sure. Can't wait to see what this Kabu looks like. I have no idea how it's gonna look. It's not done yet. I'm very curious because I don't know. Like, we have character Bibles, and like, we're sending it to the developers to make and code or whatever, and create, get some more coals on board to do it. But yeah, I don't know how they're gonna look or what traits are gonna look. So I'm sure that's like an interesting thing to like look on. Once they're in the game, for sure.
I think now it's one of those things that I feel like us should kind of consider now, like, regardless if you're in 2D or 3D, like, thinking about how you can expand your IP in multiple ways, because now there's so many kind of cross collaborations and kind of like, putting your IP in so many different places that you have to think about, like for instance with ourselves, right? Like, we know that people identify the pushes with this high quality 3D art. And we really want to focus on that, right? Like, that's why even we're pivoting our social media accounts for people to see us as this high 3D quality art that we are, and with the storytelling that we're telling. But also, it's like there's a little bit of 2D art as well. Like, why not bring that up? Like, whether that be with some stickers or maybe some of the gifs that we have created, and for you guys as well. Like, maybe now that you're gonna have that 3D asset, now it kind of opens a whole new world for you guys to introduce your IP, which is pretty epic. And I can't wait. Like, if you don't even know how that's gonna look, I'm pretty sure they're gonna do a fantastic job. And can't wait to see that on Plooshy Island as well when that happens.
Yeah, for sure, man. Just to be transparent, like there's I'd say, like, I mean, just like with 2D art, there's a lot of art that I don't resonate with, right? I mean, that's just art, right? But there's also art
it's subjective
that I
at
absolutely
the
love.
end
Yeah,
of the thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing about art. But there's also, and there's like a handful of 3D art that I really like, and Plooshies is one of them. So I just wanted to say that, like, definitely, if it means anything, probably nothing, but definitely love the Plooshies art. It's good. And because we've seen so much of it, right? And it's difficult to stand out, but you guys definitely did a good job at that. So it's
it's
tough,
I can tell you that that process with the lead 3D artists and stuff was not an easy thing, though, because I mean, you've been in the space for quite a while, so you kind of know that back in 21 and 22, when you saw a 3D art NFT or whatever, like, you immediately would think that they were gonna rock, right?
Yes.
Like, it was just a common thing. So obviously, thinking, okay, the Plooshies has to be in 3D. People had that sort of PTSD, right? Like from 21 or 22, if people were back in those cycles, right?
The squiggles effect.
Yeah. Oh, dude, far out. Yes, exactly. But we managed to, like, even the collection, right? Like, all of them have been rigged, like, since day one. And I remember a bunch of those 3D projects, like, they didn't even care to rig the entire collection, like, because they were really thinking ahead of time. They were just launching something to launch it, and that's it, whatever. We've seen that multiple times, but I feel like we've been trying to prove ourselves that if people are looking for cuteness and it's 3D, this is the place to be. This is the art that you want to have. Obviously, there's so many traits that people can resonate with, but like, coming from you, I truly appreciate that. It's a kind of like having that seal of approval and a testament that we were definitely on the right track with the IP.
You guys were thinking ahead. I mean, especially rigging all the characters and getting them ready. Like, I'm sure that was a lot of work, but it pays off.
Yeah.
I mean, 100%, and people appreciate that stuff. And it's it's difficult. Like, as a founder, like, you want to think ahead, and you want to, when you prove to yourself, like, I don't know, I guess you're not proving yourself, but when you're doing a lot of these things to think about the future, and you really care about something, and so you're making sure all the steps are done, it's tough to get that word out and have people not see just the surface view of, like, oh, art, but I mean, look at what these guys are doing. They're rigging them. Like, what are the potentials with this thing? Like, they're really thinking ahead. And, just that's an example, but just with a lot of things, I know Luca was talking about, like, he was confused because his social media manager was posting the same announcement 3 times. I think you were on that call. And he was like, why the hell are we posting this 3 times? He's like, okay, the first one got 100,000 views. The second one got 300,000. And then the third one got 200,000. So that's another 500,000 people, or engagements, not maybe people, but who saw it. And it's really just finding the right way to just keep telling people, like, hey, this is kind of what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. This is how it fits in this ethos. And because, social media, you post something on the timeline, it gets buried instantly, right? It's so difficult. And, that's the problem that we've always had, at Kabu, and every founder has. It's just making sure, you're not repeating the same thing over and over, but you're finding new ways to package it and reminding people, like, hey, like, we're here for a long time, right? And so, it's kind of building that trust and just kind of showing people, here's what we're doing, because they don't see the 13-hour work days. They don't see, it's really about just being out there on live streams or on Twitter. So, I'm super, I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less from you guys doing that, but I mean, definitely something that founders need to think about. But.
Yeah, 100%. And the funny thing that, well, maybe not funny thing, but what you mentioned there, I think it's very important for, like, perhaps people who are watching this, right? And I think Luca was pretty spot on in that call that you're mentioning, that there's only a certain amount of time that you can squeeze one announcement, because, like you said, it can be buried on social media because everyone is competing for mindshare and here and there, and people can forget things really quickly, right? Like, people, somehow our brains are just fucking fried because of all the social media content that we consume. But
Yeah.
finding ways to repackage that announcement to kind of refresh your community and people who've been looking at you for quite a while, like, holy shit, like, wow, like giving that wow factor in a different way, and then suddenly you get that attention that you truly deserve, right? Whether that be cabo,
Yep.
plushies, you name it. So yeah, I think that was pretty spot on, and yeah, we were in that call, and I feel like all of us who were in that
Yeah.
call were like, it just makes a lot of sense, like,
Oh, it
you
makes so
know.
much sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. It's people who aren't to buy who are Kabu holders and be like, you know what, that's really cool, but why do they do it? Like,
Mm,
what's in it for me, right? And so we want to make sure that it fits into this narrative, like
mm,
of why we're thinking about getting funding and why we're thinking about being the king making ourselves as the with food and the vertical and
mm.
what it means for the company from a revenue standpoint, a longevity standpoint, and
Yep.
because the toy business is, I mean, you probably know this as well, it's a very brutal business. And I mean, Luca, I literally called him yesterday about this. Like, it literally, like, it sucks at first, right? No, it's amazing, we love to do it, but there's a lot of you buy one of them, you're kind of one and done. It's very difficult to ship, and there's
Yep.
it's not like different businesses where people keep buying it and buying it, just from a revenue standpoint. You have to survive as much as you love something, right? You have to make it work, you have to pay rent, right?
Mm,
And so it's we kind of found a way with food to where, like, we can actually utilize this in the right way using crypto, and
mm.
and try to make it work in some sort of extent, and really translate that mindshare to the toy sales, because we want to do that eventually. But
Yep.
yeah, it's just about what it means for the company, man, and telling people, like, what it means for them, and what we're here to do. And yeah, no, it's interesting for sure, because
I
not,
think.
not every announcement's going to hit everybody, right? And
Yep.
everybody's in a project for a different reason, right? Even the Plooshies
Yep.
holders, right?
Yep.
And so it's making it resonate with everybody in a way, if you can. So
I think people will get it though at some point, like how people were also kind of like questioning, like, why would they do like an IRL activation in Paris, right? And I can tell you that it was one of the most rewarding things that we've done in recent times, simply because we were able to connect with a bunch of people, like whether that be our holders, but also people who are looking at us, who are paying attention, right? Because I feel like now, just because we've been in at least as the plushies since early 2023, we've come to realize that if we really want to become that sort of, that legacy collection in it, like being considered one of the top 10 NFTs, there
yeah,
comes a time that you need to conduct yourself as these new leaders in the space. And if people are gonna, if it's so easy to say, like, yeah, let's, when people say let's copy the playbook of the Pudgy Penguins, I don't want to be considered like, I don't want to be like the next Pudgy Penguins. I want to be the plushies. I want to be, I want people
yeah,
to remember, like, holy shit, this is the playbook by the plushies, right? Because
yeah.
we're doing things with our own, with our own take. So sometimes every now and then when I get to hear from people or community members or other people that I get to have one-on-one combos and be like, yeah, somehow we're kind of inspired by the stuff that you're doing. And that kind of tells me, like, holy shit, we're slowly getting there. Now we need to actually showcase that, right? And
Mhm.
it's obviously that's a long journey. And one of the things that, going back to the IRL event in Paris, is that people say that to you, like, and it gives you that sort of like drive and momentum to keep
Mhm.
doing your shit and be like, we're definitely on the right track, let's keep pushing. It's gonna, people will see that at some point. And I can see that with you, like, having this activation in Dubai, that people will be like, okay, maybe today I'm not making any sense of it, just because I couldn't make it to Dubai, let's say, like as a Cabu holder, if Cabu holders
Mhm.
can make it. But then they will see, those kind of like, reaping those benefits of you guys, grinding super hard, not just, here on spaces or streams or X or whatever, but actually doing shit, IRL, and, whether that be potential partners from Web2. People will see that.
Yeah,
Obviously, we all want to see, like, now, like, right, like when
yeah,
we put the
yeah,
community
exactly.
cap or whatever, is like, when, give. But yeah,
Yeah,
like, people, I feel like, even, I don't know if you sense that as well with your community, but like, because the industry has matured a little bit, I want to say that they truly understand now this is a long-term play, kind of, because we're not going to see the 2021 2022 NFT frenzy anymore, where there was a lot of
No.
paperwork, but yes, people were making heaps of money for sure. But now it's different. Now people understand, okay, they are actually building a company. They just happen to be an NFT company that, has blockchain and crypto, whatever, right? But this is a long-term play. They get it. Obviously, you will find, the typical flippers and the people that want the give, when.
Sure.
But if the
Yep.
maturity is kind of there and the community is super strong, they can help you as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
100%. I always thought that NFTs were kind of a ticket to be part of not only a community, but part of a company too, and having a say in things, and just experiencing and having faith in what people are doing and the people who are here for the long term and understand that mission. And as long as you do your part as a founder and you're active
Yep.
and you're out there and doing what you're supposed to do, then, then you're not giving anybody a reason to flip or get out if they were here for the long-term objective, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to cater to the right people, but you also want to do your job properly and make sure you give them a reason, to be, loyal to you long-term. But, I always said this, like 2021 and 2022, I know personally, marketing to a lot of these guys, like, as much as it was great to have an easy way to make money, the ticker back then was essentially just inflated floor prices. Like you almost knew 70% of the time that your NFT was going to make you money. Like if you got a whitelist spot, right?
Yeah.
But now, we saw this with meme coins, like literally last year. And, now, it was so saturated because there's so much volume. You get a lot of bad actors and you get a lot of people who are just trying to extract, and you get like cabals who are just, waiting for you to buy in so they can sell. And, you got that with NFTs back then to some sort of extent, but now that it's so focused on like, the attention's so limited now, it's really focused on people like, people really respect that now, like, okay, like, is this something long-term? This is not just kind of a quick trend where it's like, I'm just going to flip real quick and never see it again. I'm sure that's going to happen with spots, right? Whitelist spots, that's going to happen anywhere, but, people are kind of paying more attention than ever. And I think, just like Azuki and Pudgy, you got to have faith in the people who building actual brands and companies, right? Because that's where the real money is. I'm not, I'm not saying, I'm just catering to people who are in it for the money, because if we are a mega, billion-dollar corporation, which is very unlikely, but, we want to be a big company, I just don't want people here for the money. We want to create experiences. We want to create everything where it's meaningful and connections. But at the end of the day, the biggest bang for your buck is longevity. And it's really just positioning yourself as a company and just being in the right places at the right time. And that's how you bring the most back, from Web 2, especially to Web 3. And even just Web 3 events, kind of like this, like a hybrid, like with the Dubai activation. Like it's just doing the best for the company is always going to be the best decision you can make. But also making sure the community's, following along is also just as important. So as long as you're doing those two things, man, like, you'll be successful. At least you tried, and you're doing the right thing, and people respect that. So
100%. People will see that, and people will value that 100%. Because it's kind of like, it's funny when we talk about like onboarding people from Web 2, right? But sometimes when people say that, it feels like they just want them to pretty much dump their bags, right? Like, why do you really want to onboard people to Web3, right? Just because you want to, sell your NFT or your token so they can hold your bag and then you just move on to the other one, or because you really want to attract them to the really cool shit that's been built here. It's kind of like a question for everyone, right? Like when we say that, why do we really want to do that? Just because we want them to buy our shit and then move on, or because we want them to see like not just this, but this a whole new fucking world for them to explore and be excited about, without, hopefully without that many grifters and scammers in this industry, right? Because it's just sad. Like we've seen multiple events when we were very close to bring that many new people, like new liquidity, quote unquote, but then they just got wrecked, and then we kind of go back again, one step forward, two step backwards. It's just kind of shit.
I
I
couldn't agree more. Security is always going to be a problem in crypto, and it's being part of the online world and how crypto is. It's something that I really think is going to improve in the next 10 years. when we think about how early we are, like I really don't
So
think
early.
the rugs are going to happen nearly as much. I mean, companies always get hacked. I just think like we're so early in the tech boom still. Like literally, it's been 30 years. Like think about 20 years from now, just in general. Like that's about the same when the computer was invented, the internet, right? It's been out for about 30 years, guys. Like holy shit! Like we're so early, and it's something that people are trying to fix, but I think it's going to get better. But yeah, there's so many variables with creating a business like this where it's so volatile, and a day in Web3 is like a year in real life.
Fucking
Sometimes
life.
like it's dude, you can relate. It's nuts. Dude, like I literally told you yesterday, like I was literally here on a call yesterday, like, I'm here, I promise. Like, but no, it's listen, I mean, this has been some of the most fun I've had in my life, honestly, creating this thing. Like it's been an absolute blast. And there's a reason why I didn't take like I got, not to say like, oh, I did, but I mean, I was going to go to Morgan Stanley and be a financial advisor, or like be an investment banker
That's huge.
out of college, and it's a good paying job, and it's a secure job, and it's something that's easy, not easy, but it's something that's like, okay, check the box off. Let me work on this. But with creating a company, it's all these different webs and flows of like, what to, how to, it's all you, right? And so it's different than just saying, okay, I need to clock into work and work on this, right? There's so many different variables, and that's what I love about it. That's what I love about creating Kabu, and probably with Plooshies, and doing your own shit and making it yours, right? And like it's in your communities too, like it's everybody's, and creating this like environment and making it work as a company too is a beautiful thing. And it's designated, it's basically a glorified passion project, in a sense. And I mean, that's how companies should be, right? If you're passionate about something, create a product and make people fall in love with it as well. And I mean, if it makes their lives better, and that's even better, right? And make it last. So it's been an absolute pleasure and blast, and I can't wait for the next year. It's gonna be fun for sure. I can't wait to see where you guys are going as well.
100%. One of the things that when you were saying that, because you're right, like people don't really get to see like the 13 hours a day that we put into this thing, right? Because you're pretty much building a company, building the community, and all this effort that we're putting to make this a success, right? But I wanted to ask you real quick though, like sometimes it's important as well to kind of look after ourselves, right? Because we're putting so much pressure on us, and the community is putting a lot of pressure. Like, the environment of this industry is also putting a lot of pressure for you to deliver the stuff that you say that you're gonna deliver, and this, this social pressure. But like, maybe we can finish with this. Like, how do you kind of wind down when you're like, okay, I need to kind of take a step back, take it easy for a little bit, because if not, I mean, you're gonna burn out. You're not gonna be able to perform at your highest. What do you do, like in those? If you've ever experienced all of that, like even anxiety.
I have a lot of experience with this. I think I said this on a space. Like this is a very important thing, just for anybody who's like a workaholic, or just in general. Like when I was working on my company for a marketing agency, like back in the last bull run, it was 18-hour days, and I didn't stop because I got success, immense success, and I didn't know how to handle myself. I was like, when am I ever going to get this in my life, right? And so I didn't take care of myself. I didn't eat. I almost was like borderline, like I looked like I was like starving. Like I was very gaunt. Like I was skinny. Like I was literally in a hospital bed on a business call. That's how unhealthy. That's like a big red flag when it's like bad. Because I was getting a check.
That's not even a red flag. That's a banner.
That's a fucking billboard, dude. Like so it was bad. And I mean that was like 4 years ago. But like immediately after that, I've been fine. I mean, it's just like, it's all about managing yourself and knowing what's feasible, and you're the priority always. If you can't help yourself, then you can't help other people, right? Just plain and simple, right? And so like, for me personally, like working on Kabu, sure, Mint was, oh my God, Mint was stressful, but it was fun, but like it's stressful when you spend so much time, and it was a lot of work, but I actually had Mint in Paris, funny enough. But what I do currently when I have a feeling that I'm going to burn out, or I have a feeling that like after the hack, stress kind of gets to you a little bit. I am a big believer in working out. It's like saved my life, not like suicidal or whatever, but like it saved my life in the fact that like I always feel refreshed and motivated, and it's like the best like dopamine for me. And I always just like, it's a perfect way to just me take my mind off of things and just go, because Sometimes when you're working weird hours being in crypto, like especially like with an Australian business partner where you're up until like
Yeah.
2 in the morning, having like these constants in this routine in your life, and having that routine for me has been like super impactful. Okay, make sure you eat 3 meals, make sure you like go to the gym and work out, exercise, like touch some grass. Like I live right by the beach. I go to the beach all the time. Like I'm like sunburnt as fuck right now. So like I've just been going to the beach every day. And so that's been really helpful to me, just to take a deep breath, get some fresh air, and go back and swing it. So, I'm interested in seeing how like you've handled this, because you've been around longer than I have. Public figure, like it just post mid, right? And so for me, it was very easy with a company where I can be like, okay, I don't want to really take your business because I'm already doing 20 other things. I probably can't fit you in, but here's a referral. Instead of like this whole company where it's like a lot of pressure, and you're the client, my client, like I'm in their shoes now, and I'm trying to look for people, I'm trying to do all these things, and it's never stopping, right? Web3 never stops, and when you own a company, it's like every day is a new day. And so just having those constants for me has definitely helped for sure.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't agree more with that. I feel like sometimes giving yourself a little bit of time to reflect on the shit that you're doing before you actually burn out. Like if you like fully honest with yourself, it's kind of like you need to love yourself first for you to love others. And it's kind of like the same thing here. Like you need to love yourself and knowing that, hey, I won't be able to perform at my best if I don't look after myself, because now you know that you have this sort of responsibility with a bunch of people, like whether that be your team, whether that you be your community, even with your family as well, because they want to see you doing well, but not just financially well. They want to see you being healthy, right? So if you're able to do that, it's also like one of those recipes for success, because you're gonna be just fine. So, like you said, like finding those um, key moments in your routine, having a routine, I think it's important, especially in this industry where we work crazy hours, which is insane. But having that routine, like that, hey, at this time I know that I have to go to a gym, or maybe I go for stroll or whatever, walk for a few minutes, drink your water, try to eat as healthy as you can, because it's so easy to just be sitting here for fucking hours and they just get Uber Eats or whatever, right? Because you're too lazy to cook, or you don't have time. Like find yourself that time. Like you can find yourself that time. Like there's no way that you don't have time. Like dude, you kind of do.
You have
just
time.
don't.
I promise.
Yeah.
I used to think I didn't have time, but you have time. Like
Yes.
if you don't have time every day to cook a meal, you're not doing things right. Like literally, like maybe there's a day or two, like you're minting, and okay, sure, I need the day, right? Because anything can happen, security breach, whatever. Like sure, but that can't be your routine, right? Where it's like Uber Eats, and I can relate to that, man. Oh man, my DoorDash, like I was looking at my receipts to get my
Oh, dude,
taxes. Like
I've
I
been
looked
there
at
as
them, like,
well.
dude,
Yeah.
they're all business expenses, maybe, but no, it was awful looking with my CPA and my DoorDash expense. But yeah, anyways, never again. But yeah, no, it's take care of yourself, guys. If you're listening, whoever's listening, I mean, take care of yourself. Even with work, it's just like, dude, like, you don't want to just come home to bed, sit in your room if you don't want to, like, if it's unhealthy just keep sitting all day, or just keep it's just get some fresh air, man. Even when I was on Spaces pre-mint, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a walk. I'm just walking my dog or whatever on a space, and I do both at the same time. And I'm not using that as an excuse to get some exercise, but it helps, man. It really helps, especially like just to touch some grass and get some fresh air, like just to not be in the same, like think about an insane asylum, right? Like they lock people in their white room. This is this paint's pretty white to me, like if I'm in here
it
for
looks pretty
16
white to me
hours,
as well.
this room, it can be your own, can act like an insane asylum subconsciously, like if you're in the same spot, so just get up, move the blood, like you're on a plane, right? Just stretch your legs, and you'll definitely feel better. So
100%. But dude, Souls, it's been an absolute pleasure. I feel like we could continue yapping for hours, I reckon.
This
but
is
I
a
don't want
dangerous
to.
combination.
Yes, this is a very dangerous combo.
Yeah.
Dude, I can tell you that we can do this some other time for sure, whether that be Spaces or another stream. I'm down for round 2 for sure. But yeah, dude, thanks heaps for your time. And again, thanks to the community that been watching. I feel like we 250, 260 or so. But yeah, dude, thanks again. I think it was long overdue. Can't wait to see you in Dubai in a couple of weeks. And
Likewise.
dude, let's cook together. Exciting times for you. I'm really excited for the stuff that you're bringing. feel like we got a bunch of info from you, from like the personal side, the stuff that you're building with Kabu, with your team, with the community. So for that, yeah, I'll be forever grateful for giving me your time, and for you guys as well who've been watching this stream. So yeah, thanks, Gibbs. And if you have anything else to say, Souls.
Well, I mean, just back at you, man. I mean, thank you to everybody who's joining the stream. If it weren't for you guys, we'd just be having a conversation, Bogan and I, which I love talking to you, man. But it would just be a one-on-one call. And so you guys make it a stream.
Yeah, we should definitely jump on a one-on-one call.
100%. Yeah,
but yeah,
I completely agree. I mean, always a pleasure. Thank you guys for listening in. Thank you, Bogan, for obviously being an incredible host and great questions and great conversation as always. And yeah, we'll see each other soon. So send me the details and we'll be cooking. But,
all right. Well, thanks, mate. And thank you guys. Have a good one. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.